South Africa commemorates Freedom Day, a day that's meant to signify a democratic South Africa supported by the equal rights provided for all citizens and enshrined in our Constitution. This year marks 30 years since the inauguration of the South African Human Rights Commission, a Chapter 9 institution that is meant to ensure the enforcing of those equal rights. We speak now to the South African Human Rights Commission's Chairperson, Reverend Nissen. Reverend Nissen, thank you so much for the time. Indeed, as we've been saying, 30 years since the inauguration then of the South African Human Rights Commission. How effective has the Chapter 9 institution been in promoting as well as protecting human rights, do you feel?
Well, our record speaks for itself. You will recall that we have a threefold mandate. The mandate is to protect, monitor, and promote human rights. And so the protection mandate is where we receive thousands of complaints per annum, and also where we have, through litigation and through our hearings and our inquiries, that we've been able to do a lot of work in the progressive realization of the rights of our people in this country. Then through our advocacy, in other words, we promote the rights of all people in this country. And so through our different programs, our threefold mandate, that we've been able over the years since our existence. And by the way, we'll be celebrating also in October this year, the 30th anniversary of the South African Human Rights Commission.
Yeah, Reverend, the Commission's recommendations, despite, as you've made note of as well, the history and the, your record pretty much speaking for itself, the Commission's recommendations currently lack binding legal authority. Is this sufficient? Should the Institute be actually having that binding legal authority and a lot more teeth, do you think?
You will recall that when the public protector in one of the cases, that they were saying that public protector's recommendations are binding. We also believe our recommendations are binding, but last year, the High Court took a decision to say that we need to go through other forms and litigative way with litigating rather than saying that our recommendations are binding. We believe it is, and we ensure that we have appealed that ruling, and we've also gone to the Constitutional Court for the Constitutional Court to endorse our recommendations or seek our recommendations to be binding so that we can have more bite than bark.
Does that mean soft power has come to an end pretty much in the modern day South Africa? And I say that because in many ways, that is what the South African Human Rights Commission held. It was the soft power to ensure that people understood that you were trying to protect, you were trying to promote, you were monitoring human rights that have been affected in the country. Has the soft power now lost its efficacy, that now you need a lot more stringent power in order to effect any kind of change?
No, it has not lost it. I mean, I think also through our mediation, over the last 2 months, we've had 3 successful mediations. So we also do alternative dispute resolution. And indeed, we've also been very firm and we've won cases, been very firm in our recommendations, in our engagement with different parties and in our different parties, and also to make sure that we do not lose the essence of the Human Rights Commission. And the essence of the Human Rights Commission is to protect the rights of people in the Republic of South Africa, promote it, and also at the same time create, especially around the socioeconomic rights, that dialogue and that engagement with the different government departments to ensure that our people's rights, such as water, sanitation, etc., are being respected and realized.
What do you see as your chances then of gaining those, shall we call it, enforcement powers or more binding legal authority?
Well, we're very hopeful. We're very hopeful and confident that will be the case, that the Constitutional Court will rule in our favor in terms of the act, both in terms of our act, but also in terms of the Constitution, in terms also of the binding powers that another Chapter 9, such as the public protector, has.
Do you feel that in today's world, we've not necessarily done away with, but the consideration from people for other people's human rights has kind of begun to slack or lack as well, and that you're seeing a lot more criminal activity that is hurting the human rights of others. Are we in a society that could perhaps be digressing, considering the statistical numbers when it comes to crime, gender-based violence and the like?
Of course, people have got the right to live without fear and the right to live in a peaceful environment, in a safe environment. And indeed, yes, crime has been a contributor in threatening people's rights in the Republic of South Africa. And indeed, we have been engaging with SAHRC and engaging others in order, and communities, to make sure that the communities together with SAHRC play a role in making a safe environment for people. But we have got a problem. We've got a number of problems. There are three major problems in this country. That is the inequality, poverty, and the unemployment that we are faced with. And that's a great contributor towards crime. And we have to deal with that. We have to deal with making sure our society is safe for our people, but also there must be jobs created. Also, we must create both social cohesion so we can live and work together.
Is our government doing that, do you feel?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I was just wondering whether you think our government in its current stance is doing that, particularly as we now have a government of national unity.
Well, we encourage government and all departments for them to ensure that they really take serious the issue about poverty, unemployment, and inequality in this country. And we must give the government of national unity a chance to see how they can best enhance the environment for growth, economic growth, for jobs growth, and also to make sure that we bring down the levels of crime in this country.
What does the future of the South African Human Rights Commission look like to you, Reverend?
The future of the Human Rights Commission, of course, it's an institution enshrined in the Constitution, and it's part of the DNA of the Constitution. It's part of the South African society. It is an institution that will be there forever and ever in this country. Can we improve? Yes, we can improve. Can we do more? Yes, we can do more. But where we find ourselves, we see a huge task in this country because of those three things that I mentioned, because that also affects the rights of people, affect the socioeconomic rights, and we need to keep and hold government and the government departments accountable for the realization of the rights of our people.
Reverend, can I ask for your message to all those that, of course, yes, are watching right now, but certainly are perhaps not able to celebrate Freedom Day as they should, and to those that certainly are? Your message this Freedom Day.
My message today to all South Africans and all those decision makers, both in the public and in the private, let us all contribute to be inclusive, to make people sure that 30 years of democracy is worth it, and that they can to celebrate and say, let's create a South Africa for all of us to live in peace and harmony, but also where we can respect one another's rights, and also government institutions to respect the rights of the people and do what we have to do, fulfill what is enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa.
Reverend Chris and Nissen, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it.